You need to try and pick off the units as... Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the world's gonna
Hey everybody, it is Tastosis. I am Artosis. He is Tasteless. This is White Raw against seleCT. An amazing matchup in the IPL. We are getting pretty deep, Tasteless, and the very best players are the ones that remain in the winner bracket.
Yeah, we weeded out the jobbers of the tournament, Artosis. We got some good players down here, both seleCT and White Raw. White Raw especially well known between you and me. We played with this guy a lot in StarCraft 1. It's good to see him here in StarCraft 2. It's kind of a real treat to be cast in his game, but we can't count seleCT out either. He is a pretty scary opponent as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's the two-time world champion of Dawn of War. And but White Raw, one of my very favorite players for all time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, he's got a great style. He really approaches the game in his own way. He's not somebody who's waiting for somebody else to show him how to play. He's sort of in the forefront of the way that Protoss is understood. Now with seleCT, I think it's really cool to have these people who were in StarCraft 1 players having a ton of success here in StarCraft 2. You know, a lot of people are saying, who's going to be the best in StarCraft 2? Is it going to be all the Warcraft 3 players? Is it going to be just StarCraft players? Well, I'm happy to say that we actually have a pretty diverse lineup of top non-Korean StarCraft 2 pros.
That's right. And, speaking of Korean versus non-Korean, you can check Tasteless and myself out at the GSL at gomtv.net. Definitely go do that.
Yeah, it's a show based in Seoul. I'm sure most of you watching know it, but somebody out there somewhere is going to hear this and go, what? So please check that out. We have a show that's on basically almost every week, generally commentated by us. We do have other excellent commentators as well.
That's right.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
The map, Tasteless, Metalopolis, one of my favorite maps, one of yours as well. And, ooh, look at that. seleCT. Now, this shows you just how good seleCT is. The second that he should know if Protoss is there, his SCV turned around, and then he realized, oh, the Protoss is there, and he turned right back around to scout. That just shows how on top of it seleCT actually is.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly a guy with high APM and knows how to use that APM. That's another thing about StarCraft 2 is people are oftentimes like, well, I don't know, man, he started out the game and he had 300 APM. It's like, well, he actually did 3 things, and that was make 3 probes and send them to the mineral patches in that time. But in this case, as the game's picking up, clearly, the APM for seleCT actually going to something useful, and he's on top of his game.
Now we do see on the production tab a command center being started for seleCT. We see he has a wall and a marine down there to stop any scouting. There's that command center.
There it is.
And this is just a very common build. A lot of people love to play like this, get that super fast economy boost, and I feel like that's probably overall the strongest way to open up in Terran vs. Protoss.
Yeah, I think you're basically right, Artosis. It's a pretty solid, all around good build. I mean, the only thing Protoss can really do is mass up a bunch of gates and try to run you over, but even then, it can be a little bit dicey. So I think it's a great opener, especially in these positions. The expansion not exactly close to the exit point of the Protoss's base either.
Yeah. Now 2 more barracks and 2 refineries going up for seleCT. White Raw scouting out using that watchtower. And I'm really interested to see, wait a minute, alright, so we do have 3-gate robo, and that's actually, but wait a second.
What?
4 gates, no gas, robo, tasteless. We are going to see Warp Prism play, and White Raw loves Warp Prisms. He will warp your perception of the prism.
What's interesting about this is it's very similar to the Bulldog Rush, as we called it in StarCraft 1, where you get the shuttle, the 4 zealots in the shuttle, and rush forward with dragoons, basically trying to tear down the Terran's entrance. And in this case, he knows. He saw it. Ooh. Nice by seleCT. White Raw probably should have had his Stalker and Zealot a little bit lower on the ground. Yeah. I think what the Terran was probably assuming was going on is that he saw no gas, well, rather 1 gas, but not the second gas being taken, and said to himself, he's going to go Nexus. He's going to expand with me. Yeah. And in this case, he sent the SCV up there and said, wait a minute, there's no Nexus here. Went up the ramp and said, wait a minute, That's a Robo Bay. The hell's going on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he might think it's observers, but is throwing down that bunker, wants to be safe. Probe running away, making a pylon over there. Will select find it, and he does.
He probably heard that sound effect of that making at that distance.
Complete.
So here comes the Warp Prism. He's dropping Zealots into the worker line.
Interesting to me that he has actually run that far in with it. You got to be careful. Those Warp Prisms don't have a lot of health. A lot of Zealots out there, and good usage of the SCVs thus far. Select is going to probably use some SOP micro with those SCVs so the Zealots don't want to attack them. And let's see if he does that. And look at that. Yeah, not letting the SCVs attack too much so the Zealots don't target. And look at this beautiful micro by Select. And holding this rush very easily so far. Not losing too much. In fact, he's at 24 SCVs against 25 probes with 2 command centers dropping mules. He is actually getting way far ahead against this
Dude,
rush.
that was so sick. Had that been anybody else playing, I think that rush by the Protoss might have been huge. Look at here, a Ghost Academy. I like it. He's going to be able to, use 1 or 2 EMPs and basically run over the Terran's army. But I want to go back to that moment we saw there. What he was doing was he wasn't using attack with the SCVs. He was stopping them in front of the Zealots. The Zealots then prioritize the Marines in the back, not the SCVs, and that was just beautiful by him.
Yeah, great usage of AI. And we see White Raw looking like he wants to do some more harassment, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to. Stim about to finish. Select sees it coming.
Oh, this area is not going to come into.
Yeah, and here we go. He's going to try to go down here. White Raw, he never gives up on his harasses. But I don't know that this is actually going to do much. I really don't feel like he should be doing this right now. Okay, so Stim is done. Select can Stim if he wants, but doesn't even have to yet. And...
oh,
yeah, okay,
goodbye. All right, that was pretty bad there.
That did not go well. Look at that micro by Select.
Select is sick, man. Look at
Yeah,
this.
he's playing pretty well. He is so infinitely far ahead right now.
Dude,
Ghosts
my
on the
God,
way.
man.
There is a Colossus with Thermalance on the way, but White Raw not even expanding.
Well, if he expands, he's going to lose in 5 minutes. If he goes straight for the Colossus, maybe he can out-control his opponent, but honestly, this situation is pretty bad. I mean, the raw numbers here are so in favor of Select.
Yeah, 61 supply for Select, 45 for White Raw. Tasteless, I don't think that this is a position that White Raw saw himself in when he was going for that Warp Prism 4 gate.
Well, he was probably pretty caught off guard by all the SCVs being controlled so well. He might not have thought he was going to win the game, but he definitely thought that he was going to, at least do some damage. As you can see, the Ghost here in the army, and I don't know, Artosis.
Well, we're going to have to see. There are some force fields ready on that ramp, and of course if you hit that force field a few times, but look at this, going up with the Ghost, and BAM! Huge EMP! That means no more force fields. And, I mean, how are you actually going to hold that, Tasteless? You aren't! And look at this, stimming, running up.
Second EMP on the Colossus, beautiful, and that's basically going to do it, Artosis.
Yeah, I mean, White Raw, what are you going to do from here? Even EMPing a couple Zealots. Out comes yet another Colossus, but not enough. He just stims forward, takes that down, and there we go.
GG.
GG. And in just a moment, on to game number 2.